All right. Hello. And we are joining in this afternoon with another Christmas in July sponsor spotlight. And we have Julie Laughlin Ayers joining us, who is not only a dear, dear friend of mine. Over these past years, we have become sisters. She is a fellow author, a now published author in our book series, Surrender to Rise, and she is co founder of Breathe Capital Planning. And I can't wait for you to meet her. Let's get you
Hi.
right here. Hello, Julie.
Hey, good to see you, Elena.
Good to see you, beautiful. How are you today?
Doing great, doing great. It's hot here in New York, like it is everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rainy here where I am
Is
today. It's
it?
it's it's an easy day to be, lazy and inside, but we're rocking and rolling. So let's go.
Awesome.
So, Christmas in July. This
Yeah.
is our third annual, if you
hmm
can believe it, and you have chosen to support me in what I'm doing through this continually.
hmm
Please tell others why it's so important to you.
Yeah. Elena, from the first time we met and I heard your story of just what you would overcome in your personal life, and I was just so inspired by it and how you've used kind of a lot of what you've gone through to help other women that are in certain circumstances that are similar to the ones that you and I found ourselves in. Um, I too have had gone through a very challenging, divorce and going into being a single mom, never really thinking that that was going to be my path. I don't think anyone ever thinks that when you enter into a marriage. Um, and just knowing, those hard places that can come as a result of those decisions. I mean, I know your situation was being widowed, mine was divorced, so it's very different. But being a single parent and having loss at the holiday time really spoke to me tremendously. And I just said, well, whatever you're doing, Elena, I want to be a part of it, because one thing that I'm very passionate about is to inspire and empower other women around the world. So whatever I can do to be a part of this, I'm all in.
And I love you for that because it is totally genuine, the connection that we've had from day one. So I am equally honored to have you be a part of all the things that we're doing. But as a sponsor, um, as we're growing, it is through your help that we're able to grow and to reach that many more people. Tell us about Breathe Capital Planning and tell us, you know, what, like, because even that part of the work that you do
Mhm.
hits such a deeper level than finances,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So just share a little bit about that part of
Sure.
it for you. Hmm.
There's actually two companies that we run here in New York. My business partner and I, Noah Fehrenbach. We've been in business, gosh, together for almost over 5 years now, which we look at each other, we can't believe. But officially in business, going on 3 years now, which also I can't believe. Feels like it just goes very rapid. Um, but the two companies that we do have, one deals more in the financial aspect of life. And it's really helping people with understanding, where they are, taking a snapshot of where you are, helping people to establish like what goals they want to achieve and how they want to get there, and how do you want to live along the way as you're getting to your goal. So those are all things that we kind of take into our process. The other side of our business is consulting, where we work with business owners, from startup all the way to $5 million, helping them to achieve their goals, whatever they may look like. Um, One thing that I'm super passionate about, Elena, and it's something that you and I kind of share in common, is I believe knowledge is power. And the more information that we can share with people, the better they are, especially when it just comes to basic financial information. This is information that I think for a long time has been gate kept, which I don't really love. This is information that I think a lot of times women are a little bit behind in, unfortunately. It wasn't until, very recently that we were able to have our own credit cards and lines of credit in our name. It's been in my lifetime. is as I say that, it really kind of like jolts me awake to think about that. I don't feel like I'm that old, but I'm old enough to be in that span of time, right?
Mhm.
So those are things that really inspire me every day to just share information with people and just raise awareness
Yeah.
to where are you with your financials? How are things going? What are you trying to achieve? How do you want to get there? Those are all, part of the process that we follow when we're working with people.
And I know one of the things for me that was huge is because of my experience, because of tying so much into my husband at that time, and then him passing, and then losing everything. I felt uh, just kind of stupid. I felt inadequate. I felt embarrassed. All of these things, and just hearing you over and over and over again, the way that you talk about things with money and finances and planning and all of things, not once have you ever made me feel uncomfortable for having been in that situation. And that to me is huge, because I think, especially as women, that's why we kind of hide from it, because we feel like we should have known better, or we should have this, or how I can't say this out loud. And that has never been uh, your approach or the vibe that you put off. And that is why I'm just so passionate about supporting the work that you do, because it is from the heart.
It definitely is, Elena. My story, it's in our book, right? But it's interesting when people look at me, they just assume that everything has gone right in my life. It's really not the case. I've been through some really challenging things financially. I think knowing that, I had to reestablish my entire life after my divorce, and my divorce took 3 years to navigate, and I lost the majority of my net worth in that situation, and I had to rebuild my entire life about 12 years ago from the ground up. I think it's nice to know that I've been there. Like I feel like it's good for people, it's good for women, and it's good for people in general to know that I've been with my back against the wall in certain situations. I've been through tough times. I tell people a lot of times I've had a lot of money, and I've had no money, and I've been in between too.
Yep.
And there is really no judgment. Like when you really want to help people, you can't also judge people.
Mhm.
So when you want to really roll up the sleeves and really make effective change for people, you need to meet them wherever they are.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And just to understand that there's no shame, there's no blame. And I think sometimes we just have, well, I say we because I know that I attached myself to that. I
Mhm.
did feel ashamed, and I did feel, all of those things. And we work together, and we break through that, and we come through that. And I want to share, for those that are tuning in, whether they're watching the replay, but that I had you as a guest on one of something else that I was doing, and you said one thing that, well, actually two things on
Yeah.
that time that you had to speak,
Mhm.
that they were just instilled in my brain, and they will never leave. The first one you said is, every dollar that comes through your door has a destination.
Mhm. It
And
does.
the other was, when people talk like money is the root of all evil, or money, and you said money just, how did you put it? Money just allows you to be who you've always been, or something to that. So talk on just those 2
Yeah.
points, because those were like really life changing for me.
Yeah. So every dollar that actually is in your world, right? It does have a destination. There is an ideal place for that to be located. And not to the point where we get down to the penny or anything like that, but really as you look at your cash inflow and your cash outflow and what you have every month and what you're responsible for, there is actually a destination for every dollar that you have. And once you really start to have a greater understanding of that, it becomes much easier to start to manage. The other piece that you had asked me about is, I'm sorry, Elena, what did you say?
Like
So
how
that,
money expose,
oh
or
yeah,
who
it can
you've always been.
magnify. So what money can do, it can magnify. So if you have money trauma, which is something that we talk about, which is maybe a childhood trauma or something in regards to money, and you've got a fear or a phobia, you have a scarcity mindset because really that's how you were raised and that's what you truly believe, and it's now been imprinted on you. That can just get magnified with money. And what I mean by that is people that have a scarcity mindset then suddenly come into a bunch of money and then are very fearful that they're going to lose that. So they become very resistant to do anything with it. They just want to hold on to it, right? That's an unhealthy relationship with money. So really, we talk about what has been your relationship with money to date. Like, what do you truly believe about it? How do you feel about it? Those types of things. Like, we really want to start to peel back the layers of the onion, because a really good situation, comprehensive situation with your money would include not only your mindset, but also really strong analytics. So having both of these and marrying these together will give you the most ideal situation when it comes to your money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. And so for Breathe Capital Planning, if somebody were tuning in and they're like, okay, I like Julie's vibe, I like, how I'm feeling with her, how will they know if they're a good fit for needing what you offer?
Sure. My partner and I truly believe we want to meet every person that wants to meet us. We believe this. So we offer a complimentary consultation to meet anyone who may have a question. It's very specific, so we'd never give general advice because it's very specific to your situation. So we love to meet people, one-on-one. We can do Zoom because we are licensed in multiple states, and we can do that. We do in-person meetings here in our local office in Rochester, but if you're not here in Rochester, New York, we definitely can meet you via Zoom. We have a website. It's www.breathecapitalplanning.com. And right on the website, Elena, there's a Calendly link. So people can go right onto the website and book a complimentary session to meet us and to just ask questions and get to know us. We love that.
That's the best way to go about it. Just book a call and ask your question and see what goes from there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with the growth of Breathe Capital Planning and being co-founder of that, you did also add published author to your title this year. Tell us more about that for somebody tuning in that might not know much about that. Tell us a little bit about that and your role in the book.
So you had the idea, about Surrender to Rise, which is our book right here. And you reached out to me and we were just chatting about, hey, Julie, I think I'd like to do this. I would like to, create a book sharing people's stories, women's stories specifically, that have overcome incredible things in life and just their story in general. What do you think about it? Where's it hitting you? Does it sound like anything you'd be interested in? And it was almost like you telepathically read my mind, because for quite some time, Elena, and I shared this with you, I have wanted to write certain segments of my life story. One of which is the chapter that is in the book. And the chapter Surrender, each letter of the word has a different word associated with it. Mine was the U in surrender, and that's unconditional love. And my story is really about the major pivot that I had in life, almost like a wake-up call, if you will. And I just realized that I was not in the right spot for me and was not happy and needed to make some changes. And I did make those changes. As a part of that, I kind of had an awakening, if you will. And I felt like there was a divine calling on my life. I went through some really challenging times where I was getting on a plane very often to do the work that I did, traveling all over the country, and my life and my home situation no longer meshed. I had a small child at home. He was having a really hard time with me flying Monday to Thursday. Yeah. And I just decided, it's time for a change. And it was my father that really inspired me to reconsider my life and my career. He looked at me, we were taking me to the airport that day, and it was my son's 7th birthday, unfortunately, Elena, and I had to get to Texas. And my dad got out of the car, handed me my bag, and we walked to the terminal together. And he said, please don't take this the wrong way, but I think it's time for a change. And you're vastly talented. He's like, Julie, look at me. I started a whole consulting company at the age of 50. He retired from his career and at age 50 started an entire mega successful business.
Yeah.
He's like, I did that. He's like, I'm not even as smart as you are, is what he said to me. Now, I don't believe that, but he's like, if I could do that, you could do anything. So he's like, I want you to consider, what are you good at? What do you love? What do you think your unique value is? Because I really feel like you could capitalize on that. And that rang in my ears all the way to Texas, all the way back, Elena. And I just knew at that moment that it was time for me to make a change. And I started researching. At one time, I thought I would go to law school because I have an undergraduate in pre-law.
Mm-hmm.
I said, maybe that's my path. But I really had nobody like raising their hand to pay my bills for 2 years. So
wouldn't that be nice if we all had like somebody raise their hand? I'll take care of it for a couple of years.
I'm like, and I had my own home. I had 2 cars. I'm like, that's probably not going to work. Yeah. So I started researching what would it take to get into the financial services industry. And I quietly did my due diligence and decided that I really did feel like I had a gift in this. I actually helped one of my friends navigate some very trying times in her life, and she really encouraged me. She was actually at the end of her life battling cancer. She was my childhood best friend, and she really pushed me. And she said, hey, you know what? You don't know how many more years you have left here on the planet. And if you feel like you're called to do something, then you're called to do something and you should go for it. Yeah. And I'm so glad I listened to my inner guidance and my inner connection. And here I am.
Yeah. And people can read more about that in your chapter in Surrender to Rise. Where can people find your book?
They can find our book. There is a link on Show Your Crown, where you're able to go ahead and order the book. And I also, if you reach out to me directly, I also have a link I can send you.
Yep, I would definitely reach out to Julie directly. She will sign it.
I sign it. I send a little thank you card with it.
Yep,
and really excited about the book, Elena, and the upcoming things that we have planned for September.
Yes, let's go ahead and drop that date down here, people, because you got both of us here together right now. Mm-hmm. We are going to be in Dallas, Texas, September 26th through the 28th of this year, doing a Surrender to Rise live event, which is a weekend conference for faith-filled leaders. And I cannot wait. How about you?
I'm super excited for it. It's going to be amazing. We already have some amazing people scheduled to be there with us. And I just know that it's going to be an incredible weekend. And I'm very excited about it.
Yep, I can't wait. I can't wait. So as we get prepared for our 3rd annual Christmas in July, we are all coming together for 24 hours from around the globe for a continuous sharing of hope, inspiration, love, and really just to pour goodness out into the world, because don't we need that?
We do.
We all need that.
We need more kindness in the world.
Yes. So we got Kathy on here. Kathy says hello. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
But any last things that you want to share, because this is your chance to feature Breathe Capital Planning and really anything that you want to promote as a sponsor, because again, we are growing and we would not be able to do this in the magnitude and the capacity that we are doing it without help from sponsors like you.
I would just encourage anyone that does have any questions, either whether it be in their business and they want to learn more about our consulting services, or they want to learn more about the financial services, we just encourage you to reach out, schedule that 30-minute complimentary session to meet us via Zoom. We would love to get to know you. If you have a question and we can answer it for you, we would love to do so. I would encourage people to do that. We definitely love meeting new people. We are looking to grow the business in the next couple of years. And, that session is complimentary. In addition to that, the other women that are in the book with me, I can't say enough about the stories that are in here and how inspiring they are. So if you're just looking for a little hope and inspiration, let us know, because we would love to send you the book as well. In addition to that, Elena, I just want to thank you for being a champion of people at the holiday time that have experienced a loss. I truly believe in your Christmas in July event. This is why I told you I'm always going to be with you for this, because I know how impactful it can be to families that are experiencing loss, especially at the holiday time, how hard it is.
Yes.
But thank you.
Thank you. It is. We got Monty on here. Hey, Monty. And hey, Daniela. Daniela's on here too. Julie, thank you for that, because when we do these like sponsor highlights, I'm always just like, go, go, go. But the reality is it is through excruciating pain and loss that this is here, becoming widowed on Christmas Eve. Yep. And y'all know how what happened beyond that, but to be given this idea, randomly, well, not randomly, God chose me because he knows I'm nuts and I'll run with it, but this 24-hour live streamathon that came
you're passionate. You're passionate.
And it came up because he put the Jerry Lewis telethon in my head. And I thought, we don't have our, dial up phones, but here we are, streamathon. And only because I became widowed on Christmas Eve, and my heart goes out to the kids who don't understand why mom or dad is not sitting around a Christmas tree at Christmas time. And it gets me choked up. And the only thing that I could think is we need to just share some love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it. That's why we're here. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. I've loved spending this time with you. Thanks for having me. So happy to be a part of this year. Look forward to the event.
Yes. And thank you to Breathe Capital Planning for your sponsorship and your support. And we will be here Saturday, July 20th through Sunday, July 21st from 10 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern. And just tune in. We'll be on YouTube, right here on Facebook. We'll be streaming across multiple platforms this year, so you can't miss us.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.